We see the lights at the end of the pit lane. And it's lights out. Oh, sorry, it's lights out and away we go. For the second time in Las Vegas, Defi gets a good start, as does SJ, who moves up into second place with some real contact going on there, I think, between the Haas of Mokro and Potato. And we've seen Topias drop back a bit as Shane has made quite a few positions quite early on. No penalties there, fortunately. But we've seen Shane already make up 4 or 3 places in hot contention. Oh! It's the same corner as we had the retirements, but no retirements this time, although that may well be a full course caution.
Okay.
As we see him dive into the pits quite early on, possibly to change those soft tyres. And it's another 5-second penalty for Defi. What's going on here? And is that a retirement? Defi's left the session. Not great for Defi. I'm assuming that will mean potentially retirement. Is that internet issues or not? But the race leader now being inherited, it's Eddie. Really trying to push up to the Alpines, who now hold second and third position, as we see an Alfa Romeo dive into the pits, and there's contact with the wall by, I'm not sure which McLaren that was. I believe it was Nick, as Nifty suffers from some understeer and gets taken by Intense. Big winners there, obviously being Intense, and the Alpines for staying out of trouble. Not too bad there. The question is, are the Alpines going to be fighting? Or will there be some, obviously there isn't a team to give team orders, but will there be team orders at play here to stop the Alpines, to maximise the points? They've been really strong, this pair, throughout the season so far. And we're seeing a flurry of fastest laps settling on Intense, as SJ and Leon both fight for the lead. Just very, very tight through there with the inside line going to SJ. It's neck and neck. They're going wheel to wheel as they go down to the DRS straight. DRS not yet enabled due to the restart on the previous lap. Who's later to brake? It's SJ diving into the lead. What an excellent move, keeping it clean on the entry, with Niels making a move back at SJ. Keeping it clean through here. This is some of the cleanest racing we've had all day. Leon being the big loser of that battle, unfortunately. And as I say that, Intense, I'm not quite sure, perhaps hitting the wall there, being forced off the track, it's not entirely clear. And there's another safety car.
Okay, I've got a brand new race strategy on your MFD. That looked bad. Are you alright? Let me know you're okay.
Making sure those mediums are up to temperature. It may be harder for him on the older medium tyres to keep that temperature up, as it looks like we're about to go green as he puts his foot down, gets a good lead off from Jamie. Jamie perhaps unable to respond on the hard tyres, maybe biding his time. As it looks like a fairly neat as we see Light Pocket in the Alfa Romeo losing a front wing somewhere, not ideal. And Topias, I'm not sure what happened there, but there was a retirement. Oh, and that's a big spin. Jay just about holding it together. I'm not sure that's a retirement yet, but not much movement, maybe. Okay, and it's just a front wing end plate. Not the ideal start on those soft tyres. It looks like that's going to be a pit, perhaps. Not the race he was wanting from the back of the grid, especially when it was looking so good at one point. We have Leon with nearly a 1 second advantage over Jamie, who's under pressure now from Niels, who's just been overtaken by SJ on the newer tyres. Looking very close as we get a flurry of fastest laps settling with Nick in the McLaren. It's SJ with the fastest lap, now putting their teammate Leon under pressure. Just 0.3 behind. We should be getting DRS enabled fairly soon as SJ makes a pass for the lead. I wonder what that was. Was that a coordinated swapping? It's not clear. It's almost as if the Alpine of Leon is going a bit slower. See what's going on. Nick putting Leon under pressure, momentarily making a pass for second place as Nick has run out of road. Just about enough space being left there on those newer hard tyres. I think Leon will be struggling for grip now against the newer tyres on the McLaren. Perhaps even more as we see the Haas's in the background beginning to fight as well. With Eddie just about pulling ahead of Mokro. It's to 50 seconds behind the leader. It's probably likely, as we're seeing a battle for the lead, made it look so easy, Nick did, with DRS, probably full ERS as well. Really making those medium tyres work. On the back zone, and he's actually making a fight back, perhaps even using ERS saved up. Just slightly pushed out, taking a tighter line. As does Nick hit the wall there? I think Nick may have hit the wall there. Heading into the DRS zone. Nick does have DRS. Will he be able to battle? Just slightly too far back, but we may get a mirror image of the previous lap. Depending on if there's damage. It doesn't look like there's damage for that McLaren. May have just been a light touch. And we've seen a retirement from Shane and a safety car, which is definitely not what SJ would have wanted at this time, having just passed the pits. Not what they would have wanted, as Nick is going to be defending for his life along here, and doesn't look like really there's a contest here. The old tyre is not quite there. I'm sure Nick will be pushing his ERS to the max. Is that contact? It's not entirely clear. Nick on the outside line. Who's going to get a better entry into the corner? Ooh, and is that contact there? It's unclear. Mokro picking up a 3-second time penalty there. And now Jamie now arriving on the scene as there's a fierce battle for the lead. And we're seeing a spin, and it's a retirement for Leon. That's gonna be absolutely gutting for him, who's had a really solid race up to this point. Racing back underway as we go green. Big put under immediate pressure by Jamie, who's covered off by Nick, going into the first corner. And Jamie just can he make the move stick? It looks like he can, as Nick has some understeer, definitely suffering as he loses a front wing end plate. Not ideal at all. Eddie putting him under pressure, as is Potato, who's on the scene as well. Eddie and Potato both having 3-second time penalties. So SJ just holding behind, letting this battle play out, keeping within touching distance. Nick not having the restart that he would have wanted, and now severely feeling that aerodynamic deficit as a result of the contact that happened before. And as Potato slides into the wall, it's a very chaotic restart. SJ claiming a place, saying thank you very much, I'll take that. Moving into effective third position as a result of Eddie's time penalty. The question is, can those soft tyres retain the pace advantage that they currently have? Because it's very obvious that Jamie got a pace advantage there over Nick, and he's already managed to pull out a 1.2 second lead as Nick is passed, or he's under a lot of pressure by the Haas of Eddie, as he was on the previous restart. Only difference, they've got someone in front of them now, as it's a real blender of cars towards the back. I'm not sure I can even keep track. And that's SJ, who's taken a front wing damage. That's not ideal at all. It's too late to be pitting. We're on the penultimate lap. This is not what SJ was looking for at all. SJ's best hope, of course, now to stay in touch with those with penalties, but it doesn't look likely, because that's devastating for the Alpine team, who continue the race, but limping onwards to the finish line. Almost certainly gonna fall out of touch with those with penalties. Just going to be slower in the corners, as there is, well, I say that, gaining a position on Mokro, who I believe has just lost their own front wing to a wall. Not ideal, as Potato makes a pass for 3rd and then 4th place. Pretty expertly done by Potato, apologies. And is that Nick travelling slow? No, SJ actually just about keeping touch. Really fighting for that podium position, which it would be at this point still an effective 2nd place, but they've only really got 1 second of 1 second of buffer left with Nick, who fortunately does have a mostly intact front wing, putting SJ under a lot of pressure here. Not sure SJ is going to be able to do much to resist this, not least with a corner coming up, and I think anyone who's played before will know that cornering without a front wing is not exactly ideal. Very close between them. But Nick just about makes the move stick, moving up into effective just about 2nd place. DRS is enabled for the final lap. Wasn't sure we were going to get that, but you know, great stuff. As we have Jamie leading from the front. He wasn't the expected victor of this race, but we are where we are. He's 5 seconds ahead down the road of Eddie, who's being pursued very closely by Matt in the first DRS zone. Both with 3-second time penalties though. So it looks like SJ still just about keeping touch within that 3-second range as SJ retires on the final lap without a front wing. Oh my goodness, it's been dramatic and it's been tragic for the Alpine team. Riding 4th in the constructors table, it's not clear that they're going to be able to retain that now. For the Alpine team, what's gone on here as Mokro also retires. This is a really hectic final lap of the race. Nick just holding it together, just keeping within touch of that 3rd position. I think Eddie's just about pulled out a 4-second gap over Potato, so may just retain that 2nd position. But Potato, sadly, with his 3-second time penalty that he picked up in one of the earlier safety car periods for corner cutting, and now being overtaken on track as there's a 3-second time penalty, so it looks like it's the on-track battle is going to be what's most important anyway. Jamie comes in to win. We missed it because of the drama behind. Well done to him. As we see Eddie taking 2nd place. Oh, what a race. What a chaotic race.